was not my type. I felt straight away there was no real sexual pull.
No, I'm not her type, but also she's not my type. I still can have a flirt and have a joke with her. Is she open to giving a little bit more?
At this point, I feel like asking for the manager, or I feel like saying, let's restart the whole season, because how can you have every single couple tell you that this person is not my type? Make it make sense. How can every person be complaining that the person they're with is not their type? It's either casting didn't do a good job, production is not producing very well, or experts didn't match them very well, or the participants themselves lied about what they were looking for. So somebody at Mavs owes us viewers an explanation, because this is not making sense. Out of all the couples, the only couple that hasn't said this person is not my type is Davide and Key. Everybody else, somebody's not their type. And there is this confrontational attitude that I still can't understand. And I think we need an explanation as viewers. Maybe it's just me. Because I'm tired of everyone saying, this is not my type. This is not going very well. Yes, relationships are hard. Yes, relationships need work. But at least can we have people that are fully in this for the right reason and not just to be on TV or get clout? Anyway, I'm stepping off my soapbox. Hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Married at First Sight UK, Season 10, Episode 5. So we start off with Mev and Joe. They are excited. They have been sent to Antigua. And Joe, on his part, is still very anxious because as he hasn't commented about her physical appearance. He's more concerned about the things that are coming out of Mev's mouth, in the sense that she's a party girl and she drinks a lot, and he is trying to cut down on the drinking. So he asks her, what do you do when you're drunk? She talks about pushing people's buttons, and it's like, ma'am, you're 29 years old, if I'm not mistaken. Behave like it. You can't tell me at your age you're still getting drunk to the state that you want to push people's buttons and see how they respond. That doesn't make sense. I know I might be stereotyping or aging people, but hey. Leah and Lee, they're unhappy. They still are very unhappy. And it's like, when will this stop? They're having a picnic on this ski slope. It reminds me of Rose from last season and her guy. They went to this Switzerland place, if I'm not mistaken, and they were miserable. Maybe they need to take it off the map, because it seems everyone that goes there is very miserable. I appreciate Leah speaking up and saying, I feel like I'm walking on eggshells every time. Everything I want to do, you don't want me to do it. Everything I try to say, you can't, you've always got an excuse, more or less. That's what she was implying. And then you have Lee saying she doesn't want to be rushed, and it's like, ma'am, you came into an experiment that's conducted over 8 weeks. What did you think? Sherlock Holmes, what did you think? You thought that suddenly everything would move at a slow pace. You should have stayed in the real world and maybe things would have worked out for you better, because it doesn't make sense that you entered an experiment and you're now complaining that, why are you making me out to be the bad guy? You are the bad guy. Because of the way you're behaving, you are the bad guy. And I'm happy that Leah actually must have spoken to production and said, I can't do anymore. I'm ready to leave. I promised that I would be open and honest and I would try anything, but I can't keep trying when the other person is not trying, because you could tell she was deflated and she wanted to leave. I would have agreed with her leaving. It's the morning after the wedding for Julia, Ruth and Devon, and they say they had a good night. They seem very happy and very cuddly, only to have them sort of have this conversation about, oh, we're not keen to start on SEX, we need to take our time. And then she seems unhappy because it seems like there's something going on that we don't quite understand at that moment, but something seems a bit off with the two of them. And it's like, oh my God, not another couple saying we're not attracted to one another. I thought their wedding day was amazing. So they find out they're going to Morocco. I don't know why they sent them to Morocco. Of all the places, they could have sent them to Bali. They could have sent them to Malaysia. They could have sent them to Thailand. I don't know why they decided to send them to Morocco. No offense to Morocco, but if somebody else is getting Maldives, then I want to travel a couple of hours to get to where I'm going as well, and feel like, I've traveled to somewhere that I personally can't afford, because they both should be able to take themselves to Morocco. Anyway, We then meet Rebecca. She's 32. She loves the gym. She loves to be healthy and strong. And she's an aesthetic nurse. She says she wants a man who's a big, strong man. She's a business owner. She was engaged for 8 years and she's got some boxes that she needs ticked. She is not the prize. She is no different to Sarah, no different to Merv. And sadly, the aesthetic girls look like they're dipping a bit too much into the company supplies. They need to take a step back. I don't know why they all have that facial feature that looks exactly the same. Because if you look at Merv and you look at Rebecca, they look almost the same. The lips, the chin, everything. You can tell something must have been done. But I don't mean to be petty. So she wants an alpha male. She wants someone who's tall. She wants someone who's confident. She wants someone who's family orientated. So experts have decided to match her with Bailey, who's 36 and is a sales manager. He owns his brewery and he's got a daughter. I appreciate the fact that he didn't show her face on camera. The mom must have said no. Apparently he dated someone, thought she was the one. They had a child and things didn't work out, so they broke up. But he seems to have a very good relationship with his daughter. He himself is looking for someone who wants more. He wants more kids, but he wants someone who's kind, someone who's honest. And so the experts feel like they will be able to complement one another as long as there's a spark. This word spark needs to be taken out of the vocabulary for Married at First Sight. The word not my type needs to be taken out of Mav's vocabulary, just as have the two of you had sex needs to be taken out of their vocabulary. If they can take those things out, I would really appreciate that. Her mom appreciates the fact that, Rebecca's mom thinks Rebecca needs to compromise. She's too picky and she might not like the guy that she's matched with. And it's like, well, if she is the prize, if she thinks she deserves so much, why didn't she find it in the real world? Why break up an engagement for someone you dated for 8 years? I don't get it. You had Bailey's friends. They seemed worried. They were very nervous. I don't know whether they were more nervous to be on camera or whether they were nervous about Bailey and how he was about to show himself out. They said at times he can be very confident and he might not settle. So it's just a matter of, will Bailey like the woman he's been matched with, and will the woman he's been matched with like the guy that she's been matched with? They meet at the altar and she asks him, how tall are you? He said 6.4. She wasn't happy. She said he's not 6.4, he's 6.1. I don't know why people go on someone's height and people's eyes and hair color. There should be more to someone than that, because with time, all those things fade. So the idea that you're stuck on things like that, how long do you think it will last? So she wasn't happy. She said he's not an alpha male. She said he lied about the height. He's not her type, and she refused to be kissed on the lips because, she said she's not attracted to him. Her family were very nervous because they could tell from her facial impression that she wasn't impressed. He, on his part, seemed very excited and happy with the person that he was matched with. And so it's a matter of why are we going through all this nonsense? Why is she thinking she's the prize when she's not? They said their I do's. I thought their vows were cute, and so they walked down the aisle. They were happy. Well, he was happy, she wasn't. We then have Julia, Ruth, and Devon arrive in Morocco. They seem very happy. He carried her in. She was ecstatic. She seemed ecstatic. And then they had a date by the pool where it was revealed that, he thinks she's attractive. He thinks the experts have done a great job and is excited. She revealed she wanted someone taller. Did you ask the experts for someone taller? Or did you just base it on the fact that they would guess and find you someone taller? Would you rather somebody taller that treats you terribly or somebody shorter that treats you very well and appreciates you for the person that you are? She says she is a high-spirited person. He seems like he's very low vibration and she doesn't know how that will align. And it's like you need a yin and a yang to balance it out. If the two of you are always high, who's going to balance the other out? And who's going to appreciate somebody else being high? So I didn't like that. I was side-eyeing her. I thought it was a bit too much. I think that's not necessary. I think especially her telling him about the height upset him and he looked like he was about to cry, so that wasn't necessary at all. Leah and Lee eventually went on a date. You have Lee saying she's decided to turn a new leaf. Due to my dating history, I've been treated terribly by people, so I want to try and open up. I feel like the experts not the experts, but production told her that Leah is saying she wants to go home. And because she was told that, that's when she's decided to turn a new leaf and she's, I'm going to try and be more open. I'm going to feed you dinner. And just like, seriously, don't treat this woman like a dog. Don't. If you like her, you like her. If you don't, pack your bags, we're going back to the UK. That's it. There's no point in us sitting in Switzerland miserable just because you don't like what the experts have given you. This is not a menu option. You get what you get and you have to deal with it. Merv and Joe go on a date. He was sort of asking her about herself and her son, because he said he wants to know her more, because he, just like I think the rest of the viewers, can see that she's putting on a persona. So he wants to know the person he's dealing with. He wants to find out more about her. She then revealed that, she's a single parent. She looks after her son. She wakes up early to greet her son. That's her world, which is amazing. And then she started these bad table manners where she was burping and stuff. And it was like, please, just have some etiquette. Just be a bit more, not to say it's a lady, because then, the people like Grace will be triggered, but still, have table manners at least. I didn't like that. She comes across very boisterous, like she's trying to pretend to be a guy to put off someone or to test someone to see if they'll put up with whatever she's dishing. Sadly for her, Sarah's in the waiting. If Sarah sees her man is gone. So she'd better pull her crap together before Sarah steals her man. Because we had snippets of the couples, I'll just talk about the couples separately and then summarize that, and off we go. So we'll start off with Merv and Joe. They seem to be in a very happy space. I think Joe is very open to the experience. His only problem is he didn't want a party girl. He didn't want someone who drinks a lot and someone who's very loud, because he's at a point in his life where he's sort of settling in and sort of settling down. And so for him to be cast with someone or to be matched with someone who is exactly what he said he didn't want doesn't make sense. And I don't understand how Express Production and casting thought this was a good idea, unless they were doing it for ratings. They went on a zipline date. That was really cute. She participated. Yes, she had been upset. She was crying. But she said she would participate. She said he said his feelings for her were growing the more she opened up to him. On her part, she said she feels reassured, but her guard is still up. And so I don't know. I think Merv's problem is whoever hurt her, she decided to hide behind alcohol and is struggling to get away from the alcohol and the persona. So they went on a date where they were taking shots. Even the bartender herself was shocked because of the way she downed this alcohol. And then she was saying, it's burning. And it's like, why does she feel the need to put on this persona? Why does she feel the need to perform? I said this yesterday, I'll say this again. She needs to be mindful. She's got a school-going age child. Whatever she does on TV, the other kids at school are going to tease her son over that. So she needs to be mindful of her behavior, if nothing else. So while they were on their date, you then had Joe say to her, I really love how in private you open up to me. I'm getting to know you deeper. But I still feel like when we are out sort of in public, you still put on a persona. I think what she was doing is she was being vulnerable and open with him off camera, and then on camera she was putting on a persona, and this is what he was trying to say. She got upset, she flipped out. And it's like, why are you flipping out? He's just telling you that you're a lovely person. You don't need to put on this person that you're putting on. Just be yourself, and I love you or I like you for who you are. She was very upset. She stormed off. She went to her room in the morning. They then sort of sat down. Well, she said on camera, I didn't like that he was making me vulnerable in front of people because I try not to be vulnerable. So she was upset that why did he talk about that, about the persona. So she had her guard up. Her guard goes up easily. They then sat down for a conversation and she apologized, which I love, because she apologized and she said, I hate feeling vulnerable. I hate people knowing my weakest points. So you outing me had me feeling some type of way. And it's like, girl, whoever likes you will like you regardless of whether or not you put in a persona. They will like you regardless of whether or not you put a persona. And the interesting thing was, After that conversation, it seemed like they really sort of got to know each other deeper. Well, they had sex because they were making out in the shower. He was washing her, rubbing her bum. And so she seemed happy and at peace. If they have built and grown from that, amazing for them. I love it for them. I will always root for love. So as long as they're moving forward in the right direction, then I'm happy for that. And I appreciate that. Bailey and Rebecca, personally for me, even though they're the couple that got married in the season, they need a divorce immediately. They need a divorce immediately because she is stuck on this. I want a man who's very tall. 6'1" or 2" is still very tall for her. It's not like she's looking down at that man. She has to look up to look at his face. So the audacity and the idea that she's making such a big deal about his height doesn't make sense. She was upset that, oh, he lied to me about his height. She told him, I don't want you to lie. I need you to speak the truth. I need you to tell me the truth all the time. There's no need for you to put on a persona for me just because I'm going to suss it out. And this is what I get. I think she's used to these guys that are very tall, that are very full of themselves because they're very tall. So they put on a persona and they treat her like crap. And so the idea that she has this guy who appears to contort himself to match the partner that is with doesn't seem to sit very well with her. His friends were nervous when he was talking about himself and saying, I go to the gym at least 24 times a week, blah, blah, blah. So she decided to go and sit with his friends and sort of get to the bottom of it. The friends didn't do him any justice. They didn't do him any justice because they revealed that, he is not 6'4", and also when he was dating the last person he dated, he ended up sort of changing his dressing to sort of conform with whatever that woman was the way she was dressing. And it's like, so you are worried that he changed his wardrobe to match his partner's. You should have been worried had they said he treated his partner badly, or he was very disrespectful, or he cheated on his partner. Those are things you worry about. About a wardrobe, that doesn't matter. You can sort that out. I always say this every time on Married at First Sight. Body size and wardrobe are things you can work on, the two of you. You can go to the gym. You can go and buy him a new wardrobe. But you cannot buy a personality or some character traits. So if he's an amazing person, if he's an amazing soul, I would rather that and help him dress to whatever I want him, or the way I want him to dress, as compared to getting this, stuck-up person who's an alpha. Oh, I want an alpha. What do you mean by an alpha? This is not a supermarket. You need to be very sort of detailed with what you're looking for so that the experts know what you want. They're not going to read minds. So she then went back to him. And she told him, you need to be honest with me. You don't need to change your wardrobe for anything. And he said, when you're with a partner, you need to learn to compromise. And that's what I was just doing. I was compromising with my partner. And so if it meant we were wearing the wardrobe that was slightly similar, that's fine. But I was just compromising, or that was my goal in doing that. And so they then went to bed. We didn't get to see much of their wedding. I think it was outside of the height and the issue about, alpha male situation. There was no other issues because we then saw them in the bedroom. She said she wanted to discuss their sleeping arrangements, and he said, okay, fine. He was happy to sleep on the couch if that's what she wanted. She was happy with him sleeping on the couch, although he feels some type of way about her refusing to kiss him on the lips. And it's like, that's not a big deal. Your big deal should be all the other things that she's saying behind your back. Her not kissing you on the lips, that's something you can work on. You can get the kiss later, as long as the two of you align on everything else. Julia, Ruth, and Devon, I'm very disappointed. I really am very disappointed because I had high hopes for them. I really did. So seeing how they are behaving personally is very upsetting for me. It's upsetting. Julia Ruth, the problem is she's always on 10, and she wants someone to match her energy on 10. And you can never get two people on 10 to last. They will burn each other out. So it's good for someone to be on 10 and the other one to be on 5. That way you can sort of meet in the middle. With Devon, he is upset. He's upset about the comments with her saying, he's too short and he feels some type of way. It could be something that he's had to deal with growing up, and so she just hit a sore spot for him. She said he's boring, there's no conversation there. They went for a cooking class, and I think production kept asking them to talk, and it's like, what do you want them to talk about? Their cooking. They're going to be spitting on the food. Allow them to cook, and then when they finish they can do everything else. There's no need for the two of you to be sort of having conversations while you're cooking. I don't quite get it. I really wish they would have allowed them a moment to grow. So So they then went on this camel ride, which was the most awkward thing ever. I think they're constantly being asked to talk, and not everybody's a yappy Betty. So you had this awkwardness between the two of them, whereby they couldn't sort of come up with anything to say. And then after that, you had Julia Rose sort of go on her own, and you had Devon on his own. They then came back together, and she was saying, you know, we're struggling with conversation. There's no physical attraction, and it's like, but you were eating each other's face off on your wedding day. What happened between then and now? What happened? Was it a bad experience the night overnight then, and you've been put off? I don't quite get it, and I don't quite understand it. She complained that she's trying to find the fun side of things. She had a conversation with him and told him that, you know, if you're constantly being negative, I can't then come there and want to make out with you because I'm already put off by the constant negativity. So we need to find the sunny side to our conversations. Do I think it's something that can be worked on? Yes. I think they need to sit down with the experts and actually understand how to find a happy medium. But I think their problems pale in comparison to everybody else. But anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Click on the link in my video to watch my review from episode 4. Bye everyone.